Atheist Nomads, episode 183, news for January 26, 2017.
The podcast you're about to listen to includes cursing and talking about hoo-haws. Please be advised.
We are the Atheist Nomads, bringing you history, science, politics, religion, and interviews with leaders in the atheist community. Not all those who wander are lost. Welcome to another episode of Atheist Nomads. I am Dustin. Joining me as always is Wesley.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
And Lauren.
Me! The hoo-ha lady. That's what I am.
How's everybody doing?
Oh, not too bad. Cleared up enough, warmed up enough for me to ride my motorcycle to work. I was so happy. It felt so good.
Very nice.
I have been obsessing about designing stuff for you to build me. Woodworking.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
I've been trying to figure out what I can do woodworking-wise without glue that I want to do, because it's too cold to glue.
You could just use pegs in your joints.
You do
dowels.
You do dowels with glued joints.
Don't have to.
All the screws.
Yeah.
Screws. There you go. All right.
So I'll probably make a workbench next that will be held together with carriage bolts. So good and sturdy, and something can be disassembled.
There you
and
go.
Then
like
I'll
bunk bed.
Then I'll glue on a second layer if I need to when it warms up. But anyway, one thing that was kind of interesting was Friday with the inauguration. Lauren said she wanted to put her head in the sand, and my thought was, I want to bury mine in the sawdust.
Oh,
with woodworking. I have found it to be a nice way of ignoring the outside horribleness.
He had to explain that one to me. I didn't get it right away, but it's like knee slapping fun.
But instead of the normal dusting off the degree type stuff, I want to talk about burying your head in the sand. Not the saying, which Lauren looked up, and it dates back to like the Roman era.
Shall I go over it?
If you'd like to, yes.
All right. So back in the Roman era, it was noticed that ostriches would put their heads down to eat food in the bushes. So the original quote was burying your head in the bush, basically, which has hilarious connotations now these days. Much better. I loved it. Better than sand.
Yeah.
Much better than sand. It's like bury your head in a beaver or something. I don't know. So many ways that could go. And then
most people are highly groomed now, so.
Yes, that's true. Too groomed, like 12-year-olds. Seriously, kind of creepy.
It's enough that it's actually there's concern that pubic lice might go extinct.
Good.
Yeah, stuff like that. That's a kind of a bonus.
There are some things you want extinct. Lice
that were transferred from gorillas to our ancestors about 1.6 million years ago.
Somebody's still out there fucking gorillas, just somewhere.
Being fucked by you can't. There's tiny penises. Anyway, so they noticed that ostriches would do that even in the presence of a predator. So putting your head down and ignoring the danger is kind of burying your head in the sand.
Yeah.
The sand thing came later. I don't know.
It's stupid because ostriches don't do that.
Nope.
Yeah.
But it makes for a funny clip art
thing.
And figuratively burying your head in the sand is also stupid. Like, it is so incredibly tempting. I know I run into, in the last year, seems like every couple weeks to couple months, I reach the point where I want to quit my job. I want to stop doing the podcast and just go move up to Lauren's family's cabin and live there and hide.
He married well.
And
not really. It's a small, dingy cabin.
Speak up, Lauren.
Sorry.
It's the urge is there, and the urge since Trump's victory has been to not pay attention to the news, to ignore social media, to try not to think about it.
Look up videos of kittens and puppies.
And plan woodworking projects and build things and...
Build things for the puppies.
I did that once, and it just got inhabited by spiders.
Well, okay, that's a doghouse for you. They all do. But it was awesome.
It was. I seriously over-engineered that thing. Yeah. Anyway, but we can't just do that. We have to keep our focus. We have to fight. It is so easy to just look at it and be like, oh, well, Trump lost the popular vote. And if you look at the demographic shifts, Democrats should win the next, 50 elections.
But they
if
won't.
there's enough rage, sure.
But
if there's enough sustained rage, yes.
Democrats suck at rage, and if you look at it, Trump won losing the popular vote by about 3 million. In the last 16 years, we have had 2 presidents win with less votes than the loser.
Yeah.
We do not.
Al Gore.
We do not have a democracy here, and we have an old system that was in place to protect slave owners and make sure that their slaves counted for their votes, or could be counted to give them more votes. And that's why we have the Electoral College. Anybody who says it's to protect small states, no, it was to protect slave owners.
Yeah.
The slave states. It was to give them more power, even though they had fewer voters. So that way votes were determined based on, or electoral votes were determined based on population, not on votes cast. And the Electoral College does not benefit small states. It benefits swing states. And one thing that is the most disappointing is we actually have a point now where we have a state in the U.S. that is now being called by quite a few organizations to be a failed democracy.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Guess which part of the country it's in?
The South?
It's a swing state in the South. North Carolina had a Democrat win for governor, and in that same election, Republicans won a supermajority in the state legislature. That's how gerrymandered North Carolina is. Their gerrymandering is so fucked up. They are part of, allowing that to happen was part of the move to get the Supreme Court to throw out parts of the Voting Rights Act, because they're violating that. They're making sure that black people that their votes don't count. And how did they respond to losing the governorship? Oh, let's strip away as many of the powers of the governor as possible.
Yeah, that was kind of a dick move.
So you lose, but you made sure you can't lose, so then you just further make sure that you won. Yeah, that's not democracy. Losing does not make you the winner. And this is all just what's happening here in the U.S. If you look around at the rest of the world, long-time liberal countries throughout Latin America have been having major hard swings to the right. Liberal democracies in Europe have been having major swings, not just to the right, but hard right.
Fascist right.
Yeah. Reich type right. With some scary, scary parties gaining a lot of power.
Choose the Reich.
If you look at the world as a whole, in the last 10 years, we have lost democracies. After a century of the number of democracies increasing rapidly, we've had a decade of the number of democracies going down. The trend right now, if you look at all the numbers, it's not that liberals and progressives are going to win. No, we're going to lose if we don't fight.
Which is what Saturday was all about, kind of.
It's definitely a start, and I love the direction, and we're going to talk a lot more about that. Throw forward there. I also like the phrase direct action, and we might talk about that more later in the show, especially later episodes.
Okay. Yeah, because marches don't always do much, but if you have a big enough crowd, it at least gets people's attention. So those are worthwhile to do. Big protests are worthwhile to do. It sucks that there was some violence.
Yeah, that's yeah, I'm kind of not I'm not going to say bad about the violence at all.
Wesley and I kind of share an opinion there. Directed violence. Violence that has a purpose or a greater meaning, such as burning a limo.
I'm going to say,
burning
you know what?
The flag.
If you punch a Nazi, you're okay in my book.
Punching a Nazi.
The problem that always ends up happening is when you have a protest that gets overly enthusiastic, start breaking, smashing windows, burning cars, and it ends up being innocent collateral damage. Yes, insurance is going to pay for all of that, but if you're angry enough to be causing damage, focus it.
Well, the problem
focus
is even
the
if
anger.
Even if they do damage, it doesn't actually change anything.
Right.
I mean, we sat there and watched on TV people burning buildings down and trashing cars, and now a year later, what's happened? People are still treated like shit based on their race.
Mm-hmm.
People are still getting shot. Nothing changes.
Right. Because if you want to change things, you have to actually take it to the government.
There's a lot of things you can do, but I don't know. Getting involved in local politics is probably the best option for actually trying to make change. Because obviously, nationwide, totally out of our hands.
No, it's not. And anybody who says it
optimist.
is. No, if you say it's out of our hands, that is admitting defeat.
Yeah.
We cannot accept defeat. We have to fight.
There's just so many times that you get kicked off the horse before you need to stop trying to get back on it.
No.
Always get back on the horse.
Never.
Break that horse.
All right.
I would rather see people burn down every government building than
there we go. Now
give
you're
up.
with me. All right. Let's do this.
Yeah.
I'm not giving up now. That's what you wanted.
There you go.
Oh, well. No, don't burn stuff down. I'm joking. Venting.
Atheist Nomads is proudly brought to you by Archway Hosting. Check out their low-price, full-featured hosting solutions at archwayhosting.com. That's ARCHWAY hosting.com.
Hey, we're also brought to you by listeners just like you. Find out how you can become a patron at patreon.com/atheist nomads. That's patreon.com/atheist nomads.
The Trump administration has already made so much terrible. But let's start off with some claims they made about the inauguration.
Hold on. Give everybody a moment to go get their Excedrin migraine and swallow. Good job.
All right. They claimed...
This is the time that you dig the hole in the sand and bury your head.
They claimed that a few drops of rain fell before Trump got to the podium, and then the sky cleared and the sun shone, but the fact is that it rained throughout his entire speech.
Yeah,
it was a sign from God.
But he didn't realize what was happening if somebody was actually holding an umbrella over him.
And probably a spotlight.
Yeah. And he mistook it for actual weather.
Now, I think that is a little bit over-optimistic.
No, he's just compulsive liar.
Compulsive liar or completely delusional.
One leads to the other.
They claim that they had the largest crowd ever for an inauguration.
Ever,
which is Obama's first one in 2009 with 1.8 million approximate.
Yeah, and the estimate...
They say they had more.
The estimate puts Trump's at about a third as many people.
I've been hearing 250,000 is a decent projected number for his attendance.
Well, if that's the case, then it's a lot less than a third.
Yeah.
The source I saw was he was estimating, doing approximate ranges and estimated about a third. They claim that there were more people in the D.C. metro for Trump's inauguration than for Obama in 2013.
No. Oh, yeah.
But the actual numbers are that there were more than 100,000 people more on the D.C. metro for Obama 4 years ago than for Trump.
100,000 people.
Yeah, about a quarter more people. They claim that it was the first time that floor coverings had been used to protect the National Mall, and the first time that security checkpoints had stretched out that far onto the mall.
Again, both not true.
Yeah, these are just standard practice, and nothing has changed since the last several inaugurations. And on Saturday, Trump claimed in a speech at the CIA that the feud between him and the intelligence community was fabricated by the media.
So he just told them to go stick their heads up their ass? I mean, I don't know what that was all about.
Because the fact is that the media was just reporting his own words and tweets.
Yeah, that's all you need. And he doubles down.
So the feud was him.
The intelligence community, CIA, they're just like, what are you talking about? What are you saying?
So in response to all of this, the fact that people were actually pointing out the facts, the actual facts, Kellyanne Conway, counselor to
our new favorite comedic inspiration.
Yeah, counselor to the president, said on NBC's Meet the Press that the White House is just putting out, quote, alternative facts.
Is just as much bullshit as alternative medicine.
Thankfully, I actually had a glimmer of respect for CNN when this was being talked about, and they had up on their screen right below people talking in big bold letters, alternative facts are lies. Loved it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's really pathetic that we actually have to fucking school people and say, hey, wait, remember when you were 3 years old and you got taught what lies are? Yeah, we got to do it again.
Well, I saw a meme today that showed Trump saying something, and then right below it was Patrick Stewart from which movie was that? The Star Trek movie?
Probably all of them where he face palms.
With the four lights.
Oh, that was the Next Generation episode.
Next Generation episode. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's being tortured and being told that there are 3 lights when he can see that there are 4.
Oh, yeah.
And so he breaks down saying, there are 4 lights, and he's like a hero for it. This is what the American people have to do. Because even though they're throwing all these lies and trying to make it fact, you have to say, no, that was actually a lie, and not be afraid to point it out.
That's right. Smack him on the nose. No.
Here's a newspaper. No.
But the problem is Trump then just looks at everything else and says, oh, no, those are lies.
That's
Obviously.
fine, but the American people need to be able to hold their government officials to a higher standard than this lunatic.
One thing I find absolutely hilarious with this is the White House is admitting that they're lying. Yeah, they're spinning it a little bit different, but they're admitting they're lying.
Alternative facts.
Well, Sean Spicer's just saying, oh, everybody's attacking us. Pity me. Why don't you just tell the fucking truth in the first place?
But in the 90s, Republicans couldn't shut up about Bill Clinton lying and about his spinning the truth.
They still can't shut up about it. They still bring it up.
True. So what the fuck is going on here?
And I just want to say I'm by no means supporting what Bill Clinton did. Most people who are Democrats did not support what he did there. Just because we voted for his wife doesn't mean that we are sucking Bill's cock. Just wanted to throw that out there because apparently there's some confusion.
Oh, okay. Huh. Yeah. Alternative fucking facts. What the fuck?
Oh, maybe when I should start using that at work. It's like, no, that's just an alternative fact. I'm not parked in that parking spot. That's an alternative fact.
And I haven't, I totally haven't been looking into the inaugural crowd size for these last few minutes. PolitiFact has done a decent amount of checking into this. They're saying Trump, unfortunately, ranges from 250,000 to 600,000. There's just not maybe it's just too soon to nail down a good figure.
Yeah.
Obama 2013, 1 million. Obama 2009, 1.8 million. Clinton 93, 800,000.
Wow.
Couldn't even beat Clinton.
G.W. Bush, 2000. Well, Bush 2001, 300,000.
Ouch.
Yeah. So Republicans, H.W. Bush 89, 300,000. So it seems like
Republicans just don't turn out for inaugurations.
No, they draw shit crowds.
They just get more people out to the polls. At least in states where it counts.
Consistently, yeah.
Huh.
Well, when you have their pastors telling them what to do in church, it kind of helps.
Yeah.
You fucking vote for Billy Bob over here or fucking go to hell.
Now, if you think that we are just railing on him for politics, I have been trying to make sure that the parts that we talk about are relevant to at least something that matters for the show specifically. And with this one, facts are facts. And there is no point in science or anything that matters if facts aren't even a thing.
Well, a lot of my stories are just, not really religious, except for one, and it's fucking horrible.
All right, let's go ahead and move on.
All right.
Trump has issued a gag order on a lot of government employees, agencies, and the like. This has included shutting down the EPA's Twitter account, taking social media accounts from employees, and taking climate change off of websites. Badlands National Park wouldn't have that. In one tweet, they posted that today the amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere is higher than at any time in the last 650,000 years.
There is actually a new hashtag now that you can use to help follow that. Badass lands.
Nice.
So, yeah, these guys are like, yeah, screw you. Not only is he putting in a gag order, but he's also doing a hiring freeze.
Yep.
Which means that the upcoming summer season for all the national parks will have a major shortage of staff. Yeah. That was really dumb.
Well, yeah, this guy's a fucking idiot. There is the way I interpret it, the way I've been told, is that there is a complete federal government employee hiring freeze.
Except for the military.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you want to join, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, fuck the Coast Guard. Basically you can still join those, but yeah, if you want to
you want to work trails or work at Yellowstone or
work at a fucking shipyard.
Right, because so the freeze is a freeze on civilian government employment, civil service.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, that does include DoD civilians.
That's my understanding, yeah.
Huh.
I'm hoping to hear more from this because, well, we were actually trying to hire a fuckload of people.
Yeah, I mean the government website for jobs was by no means scantily addressed. It was, I mean, it's almost February. That is main hiring season for anything summer related, and that's a lot of building stuff.
We've actually got our job fair coming around in about a month for my shipyard. So I'm kind of curious about how it'll work.
Yeah. Oh, and we're going into job fair season for a bunch of government agencies on college campuses.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, my boss is one of the recruiters for some engineers. He flies out to Michigan. It doesn't hurt that he has family out there and makes it a vacation too, but, whatever.
Anyway,
Yeah.
about that head in the sand. Sounding so good right now.
Oh, and they're also calling it, people have dubbed the park Breaking Badlands.
Breaking
Nice.
Badlands.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, I think that we should also touch on the bit that in that same round of signings, he also basically shut off any funding for what was it called, the Mexico City project.
No, what he did is he pulled out of the TPP.
Well,
which
yes, he
made
did
us
that.
resort back to the Mexico City Protocol.
No. Mexico
different.
City Protocol is about women's funding for women's reproductive, like basically abortions and other like checkups and screenings around the world.
Yeah.
Mexico City just happened to be where the conference was held that year, back when Reagan was president. So yeah, we help fund, women's health around the world, but Republicans block it the first day or two that they get in office, and generally Democrats fund it right at the same time.
Actually, it's a little bit different than that. It is funding is available with a prohibition on anything that involves either providing abortions or counseling that abortions are an option, or doing referrals to someone that can provide abortions. And Democrats keep putting that portion of it on hold. And Republicans just let the full law stand, or the full program stand, or whatever.
Kind of like Planned Parenthood's funding, though. PP in the U.S., the stupid vast majority of the money of what they do is, well, not abortions. It's checkups, it's health screenings, health and wellness screenings. But any money that they get from the FedGov is not allowed to go to anything to do with abortions anyways. But, people around the world, women around the world need help too. I mean, the best way to get the best way to help improve the world is to make sure that women are healthy, and that, if they don't want to have children, if they want to go out and work, don't saddle them with a shitload of kids, let them be able to work and get a job.
Well, and the defunding Planned Parenthood thing that's not even in the same ballpark. It's been a Republican lie to try to make it seem equivalent. Because what it comes down to is Planned Parenthood has doctors, and a lot of young women are on Medicaid, and Medicaid will cover for people on the program all of those preventative health screenings and care that Planned Parenthood provides. So the attempts to defund it have been attempts to not allow those providers to qualify for Medicare payments, or Medicaid payments. And that would violate federal law, since if you are on a government healthcare program, you get to choose your doctor, even if your doctor works at Planned Parenthood.
So there you go. Better understanding of the whole fucked up everything.
Yeah.
Sand is so warm when it's in the sun.
So yeah, we totally off track that.
Yes, we did.
I did. My bad.
That's okay.
So hopefully fucking Trump doesn't shut down everybody's Twitter access, but he's doing something really bad because, well, do we talk about, are we going to talk about government entities not being able to share their data, especially scientific discoveries?
That one I didn't include.
Because that's, the research that our government is doing can't be shared with the American people, the people that pay for that research. So that's kind of scary.
Yes, it is.
I mean, there's a reason my shipyard is called a public shipyard. It's because, people can basically know what's going on in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, the people own it.
Yeah. Government does research. It's supposed to be out and open and inclusive so people can know what's going on.
Transparent.
So are people going to have to do fucking Freedom of Information Act request to get information on what's going on?
Yeah, until that gets repealed.
Yeah. Which wouldn't surprise me if that happens.
This is extremely problematic and not good at all.
Yeah.
Worst fears coming to reality.
All right, let's go ahead and take our second break, and then we have more fun.
Yay! In the fun.
We love hearing from our listeners. You can email us at contact@atheistnomads.com, tweet us @atheistnomads, send us a message on our Facebook page at facebook.com/atheistnomads, or better yet, call us and leave us a message at 541-203-0666. We might even play it on the show. You can also help us out by leaving us a review on iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcast directory of choice. Betsy DeVos had a tough time answering questions the Democrats had for her at her hearing before the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. Democrats also refused to allow for a vote until after the Office of Government Ethics completed its report on her. And that report was finally released. And as a result of that, her confirmation vote has been delayed until January 31. So that way the senators have time to review the many, 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 many pages about her involvement with promoting charter schools and voucher programs and religious education and massive donations to the Republican Party.
Yeah. Yeah, Whoa.
And Jeff Sessions also had a bunch of documents recently come out about him, and his confirmation hearing has also been delayed, or at least vote, until the 31st as well.
Okay, DeVos first, complete joke. Did we talk about her on the last show?
Joke.
We've talked about her a couple times, actually.
Okay. This woman should not be... She should not be allowed anywhere near a school or to have anything to do with schools.
Yeah, and yet this is like what her livelihood is, which is just mind-boggling.
Well, but not about real schools.
Right, nothing to do with public
religious
school.
/ private STEM schools.
Yeah.
This is the way she, makes money. So all he's doing is putting people into places that they can make money.
Yeah, she's going to make a lot of money. She's given away a lot of money. I mean, what did they say? $200 million to the Republican Party?
Yeah, between her and her family members.
Her family over the last 20 years or something. It's a long period of time, but
I would hope so.
$200
million. Jeez, that should be more than a lifetime's worth.
But apparently enough time to buy a cabinet seat.
Yep. Yeah. That's what. That's all that matters. Every educator I know, every parent who has a kid in school I know is upset about this. God, and I just feel awful because I guess I should be writing letters to my representatives in Congress or senators in Congress and say, don't let this go through. There's got to be a better choice. Vote for public education, not private. But I have yet to write a letter to anybody.
Yeah, I don't have much.
They've already come out and said that they're going to vote for Sessions. So it's like, oh, you guys suck.
We've got Crapo and
Rich Boy.
Yeah, Rish.
Well, I was going to add a little bit from Trump's actual inauguration speech, which is completely fucking horrible. An education system flush with cash, but which leaves our young and beautiful students deprived of all knowledge. Are you fucking kidding me?
What?
Wait, is that what he's saying is the current situation?
Yeah. Oh, did you guys actually watch his speech? All like 16 minutes of it? God, it was like pulling shit out of your mouth, and then, yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, the education system hasn't been flush with cash.
Oh,
since what, the
another
80s? If even then?
I don't think so. I don't think our schools have been top notch since really ever. I mean, I'm sure they were better back. Yeah.
I know. I'm thinking back. I'm sure it was better in the No. How about the No.
I was thinking the 50s, and maybe, they had the kids in line, but, I don't think they were really, good on facts then either.
Yeah, they produced a lot of engineers. Something.
Yeah.
And they were definitely putting money towards education then, because, we needed the engineers and the scientists to keep building better bombs.
Which is what we've been hearing for the past 10 years with STEM education and...
But,
nothing.
Engineering doesn't really get involved until, late high school or college even.
Yeah, but you learn your basic math and algebra at a fairly early age.
Yeah.
Understand that science is actually a science and not alternative fact.
Well, one of the other things he said, and then I'll drop this subject, subsidize the armies, talking about the United States, that we have subsidized the armies of other countries while allowing for the very sad depletion of our military. Before Trump even got in office, I believe we were already planning to build another 100 boats. I mean, we have by far the biggest military in the world. By far, we spend 57% of our budget, I think it is.
Yeah.
On military.
We spend more
3%.
We spend more on the military than the next 10 countries combined. And we don't have the largest military, but we do have the best, richest. I think we have the largest Air Force and the largest Navy, at least in terms of number of boats. But we definitely have the most aircraft carriers. And
we have the
major boats.
We have a stupid amount of Navy and Air Force.
I'm going to cry.
We could fight a war on both sides easily. A two-front war easily.
Which we have done.
Last two-front war was World War II.
Yeah.
Oh, no. I meant on both sides.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Japan and Germany. Two fronts.
No, I mean literally like enemy and ally were fighting on both sides.
Iraq,
South America. We
gave Iraq money against Iran, and then just a couple years later fought Iraq.
We helped train bin Laden and gear him up.
More recently in Syria, we have been giving weapons and training and support to rebel organizations that would either be then join up with ISIS or have everything they got stolen by ISIS.
Yeah, our country's pretty fucked up.
Yeah.
Seriously. Oh my God.
All right, let's go ahead and get off of Trump for a little bit.
Woo!
All right.
FFRF has filed a lawsuit against Mercer County Schools in West Virginia over the Bible class they have. And this would be legal if it was a Bible as literature or Bible as an influence on society or the Bible in history or something like that. Comparative world scriptures. But FFRF alleges that the school is using this for indoctrination, as it has been for the last 75 years.
Wow.
Well, then it's tradition. No, that's bad. You've been doing the wrong thing for 75 years. You've been at least doing it wrong for the past however long it's been that's been illegal.
Bible readings were prohibited in the 50s.
Yeah, it's been a long time. West Virginia.
Yeah. So
Mercer County.
A couple of the problems are that it requires that teachers have a degree in the Bible.
Oh. You have one of those.
Maybe.
Hey.
I mean, that's
you could get a job.
very generic way of saying that. But
I have a degree in theology, but a degree in Bible.
Bible.
Is there really a degree called Bible? I mean, theology. I mean, that's what you would want.
Theology major, religion major. Maybe this would be they're looking for people that have gone through those like 2-year Bible colleges.
This sounds like something that, like Liberty or what's the other great Bible Christian college? Patriot. I think one of them would. I think one of them would have like a degree in Bible.
Maybe. One lesson includes images of Jesus being whipped and tortured, his body being dragging a cross and then being nailed to the cross and ascending to heaven.
Right, because that happened. Said no one ever. Oh, wait.
Happened to the Easter Bunny, too, so what?
Their goals is to help students develop a positive attitude towards biblical literature. Stuff like harmonizing the Matthew and Luke account of the birth of Jesus.
Not gonna happen.
And the 4 gospel accounts of the last day of Jesus.
Wow, they're laying it on thick.
Things that are not harmonizable. So interesting.
So what they're doing is teaching apologetics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's not legal.
Yeah, and students who opt out aren't necessarily getting a reasonable alternative instruction as the district requires.
And
like,
go to study hall for an hour.
And the curriculum promotes creationism.
Well, of course they do.
So, yeah. So they're getting sued.
Good. I have a link attached down at the show notes that we'll talk about a little bit later about how you can donate to FFRF.
Oh, very nice.
Sweet.
Keep those lawsuits going.
And then for my last story, Texas State Representative Tony Tenderholt of Arlington has introduced a bill directing the state to ignore Roe v. Wade, something they can't do, and to criminalize abortions at any stage of pregnancy for any reason, and would remove the language in the state penal code that makes it clear that abortion is not murder.
Penal.
He told the Texas Observer,
murder.
Right now, it's real easy. Right now, they don't make it important to be personally responsible because they know that they have a backup of, I can just go get an abortion. Now, we both know that consenting adults don't always think smartly sometimes, but consenting adults need to also consider the repercussions of the sexual relationship they're going to have, which is a child.
Which is why we should have breeding licenses. No child for you. You are not a smart consenting adult.
Yeah.
No, people don't just say, I just go get an abortion. No, that sounds like the mentality of a 14-year-old who doesn't understand what an abortion is. No, it's a terrible, life-altering decision. But whatever, old white guy, I guess you know everything.
Well, and man, he for one, you can't just pass a law saying to ignore the Constitution.
Yeah, that's the whole point of a Constitution, right?
Well, I'm gonna come at this from 2 different ways right now.
Okay.
One, if there's a federal law, state laws can't break it.
Right.
That's generally held to be true.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and Supreme Court rulings on federal law or the Constitution are legally binding.
right.
Period.
But then, maybe he's just looking at, look at all these states that are selling weed.
That's not at the same level, though.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same argument.
Yeah.
But Roe versus Wade, as a Supreme Court ruling, it was a Supreme Court ruling interpreting the Constitution, which made access to abortion a constitutional right.
I think this guy's just hedging his bets to see if the next Supreme Court nominee that Trump puts forward is going to try and reverse this. Because that's been a big talking point for the past year.
Well, they can't do it alone. I mean, they have to have somebody to bring up a case, and then it has to work its way up through the courts. I don't believe it can. I mean, you can bring it to federal court, but it's not going to go straight to the Supreme Court.
No, but somebody will find a way.
Well, I mean, it still has to go through federal courts.
Right. Somebody will find a way. Get it through.
It just
I'm
takes
just saying
a few years.
it's just not an overnight thing.
Well, okay, so if it takes a few years, how do they ever get anything where the person has standing? Considering that so much stuff gets thrown out nowadays because the person doesn't have standing.
That's a really good question.
So Roe versus Wade will never get overturned because there's no way anybody can get through the federal court system.
Actually, the more likely scenario is nobody could challenge abortion restrictions because they're not going to still be pregnant by the time that makes it to trial.
Right.
But people that are challenging Roe versus Wade by just making laws that undercuts it, they pass the law and nobody can challenge it. Standing works in state legislature's favor.
That's true. And the other thing about this that really irritates me is criminalizes abortions at any stage of pregnancy or for any reason. So he's not giving them the benefit of being a rape or incest or something along those lines.
Nope.
No. So when he's talking about two consenting adults, what about the non-consensual? This guy's a hypocrite.
Actually,
at least the reasoning he gives is his hypocritical. I'm sure he feels...
reasoning that him trying to put it into secular terms, the wording is hypocritical. But I have no respect for abortion restriction proposals that require consent in the sexual act. Because if you are going to be prohibiting abortion at any point, then you are doing that because you believe that is a human being. And if that is a human being, that human being deserves rights. And how that human being came to be is irrelevant. So I think they're wrong in considering a fetus or an embryo or zygote to be a human being.
Zygote.
But if that's the position, at least he's being consistent.
Okay, well, it's fair enough if you consider crazy to be truth or alternative fact.
Well, in this case, I would say
consistent, still asshole.
Yeah,
totally.
He's wrong, but he's not being a hypocrite.
Okay.
And whenever somebody says alternative fact, remember, roll up a newspaper, smack them on the nose, say no. So, Lauren, you're about to get smacked.
It was sarcastic alternative fact, which then turns it back into fact. That is what? No. Smack. Okay.
As a listener of the show, I'm going to assume you love my sexy vocal stylings. If you love the rest of the show as much as my voice, consider giving us the resources we desperately need to purchase quality cocaine and Red Bull. We make it super easy to make a one-time donation or to support us on a per-episode, monthly, or even annual basis using PayPal or Patreon. Find out more at atheistnomads.com. Use the links on the right side of the page. $1 an episode is all we ask.
Okay, let's turn it over to Lauren.
All right.
I put in a few links in the show notes for people that just are links to some groups that are doing some good work in the name of either secularism or civil rights. These are the people who really need our help now, financially. It's the beginning of the year. If you happen to have some extra money, throw it to these organizations, and I'm sure they would greatly appreciate it. Examples for lobbying for a good cause are the ACLU. Planned Parenthood is an obvious one. And also the People for the American Way. There we go. Mm-hmm. They're also a nice kind of civil rights lobbyist group. If you are only interested in people who lobby for secular reasons, there's the FFRF. There is the American Humanists. And then there is the
Americans United.
Americans United. So, yeah.
There's also the Satanic Temple. They could use a few bucks.
They could. Do they actively lobby?
No, but they do direct action.
That's true. That's true. And that is totes respect there.
They come into their house and fuck with them. It's great.
Yeah. So support the Satanic Temple in your area. All right. Back to Wesley.
To hell with the Cheeto. Washington, D.C. on the 21st. Oh my God, it was beautiful. D.C. was definitely filled with at least 600,000 people in support of Women's March. Sydney, Berlin, London, Paris, Nairobi, Cape Town, even fucking Antarctica. I mean, people, London was filled. It's beautiful to see all these people around the world. I mean, God, it gives me the feels. I mean, Atlanta, 60K, Austin, Texas, 40, Los Angeles, 100K, Sacramento, 20K even, St. Louis, Madison, Wisconsin had, I mean, it's fucking cold there, 75 to 100,000 people. Chicago, another 125,000 people. Basically saying, fuck you to everybody that just got elected and what's been happening forever. That, you know what? Women are people too. Guess what? Yeah, it's time to fucking recognize that, everybody. Holy shit. I posted a link to an amazing video because I know my local news, and my wonderful partner, girlfriend Meredith found this link, and I love it. And it shows the super long, close to 200,000 people in Seattle. They had a helicopter view, just like go down the path of all the people all through Seattle, and it was just like miles long looking. It was beautiful to see people like this.
Holy crap, that is a huge line of people.
Keeps going. So yeah, good on you, King 5. But yeah, so I mean,
whoa! Now they're going around the corner, and there's even more.
Oh yeah, that just keeps going.
Look at the timeline on the video; it's long.
Holy shit!
Yeah. So, from the womensmarch.com, their mission, guiding principles, nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people. That's under principle 1. Principle 2, the beloved community is the framework for the future. Principle 3 is an interesting one for me. Attack forces of evil, not persons doing evil. You can see that these are very nonviolent in their approach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for the love of God, don't set something on fire. Don't set something on fire.
We got 2 more here. Accept suffering without retaliation for the sake of the cause to achieve our goal. Principle 5, avoid internal violence of the spirit as well as external violence. So, I mean, take the spirit for whatever you will, but whatever. This is a very nonviolent group, and if you see any violence around it, it has nothing to do with the Women's March. It's just those dare I say, lovely
the individuals.
Anarchists. Yes,
anarchy.
Or it could be, well, I recall talking about the Veritas group a show or 2 ago. How they were trying to bribe progressives or basically anybody to start shit. So could have been that also. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if you see violence and somebody says that it has anything to do with Women's March, you need to get a little violent and smack them on the nose with the newspaper.
With the newspaper.
Say no.
Insult to injury. I would know. It's particularly embarrassing.
Well, one thing I've seen about the Women's March, at least in DC, was it was so big there wasn't even room for protesters.
Yeah. There was a plan
the counter protesters, that would be.
Yeah. Yeah. But there was also a plan to actually have an actual walk, a march, and there was just so many people. It was just impossible to do.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. It gives me hope to see so many people out. So I fucking love that.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I think. So yeah, I just simply called it "You Sick Fucks." So going on from that, Timothy Saboro and his son Esten Saboro have both been allowed to use the Bible as their main piece of evidence to defend themselves against accusations that they kidnapped and raped underage girls at their home in Toledo, Ohio, over the span of several years. The case that is actually being brought against them right now is against charges of raping a 13-year-old girl for months. I believe it's
what is this?
close
Some
to a
sick
year.
father-son bonding time?
Sure.
Apparently.
That's terrible. And yet, if they use the Bible, they think it's perfectly justified.
I don't know how.
I don't think there's anything that says that explicitly they are allowed to rape a 13-year-old.
Yeah,
No.
is she spoils of war?
That'd require
War?
It depends on the war.
It does. Dude, these guys are so going to jail for such a long time.
Okay,
I sure hope so.
If they're trying to use the Bible as a defense, as somebody who knows the Bible pretty well, it does say that yes, if you rape a woman in the city and she doesn't, if no one hears her scream, then you have to marry her. So they could be trying to say, oh, this is just their wife, but it also says that you can't have sex with your father's wife or your son's wife.
Yeah.
So if they're trying to use the Bible to justify it, no.
Well, I'm just happy that they are their own attorneys. And sure, use the Bible all you want. I just have a feeling that's going to fuck them over worse. I really hope they go to jail forever. God.
So two interesting things from the judge. Linda Jennings was the judge. She did say she'd allow them to use the Bible as long as they didn't use it to question witnesses. So that's good. And she also said, it's the court's opinion that while the Bible is very important, it's not a law book in a court of law.
Thank you. Yeah. I would even subplay the important part.
Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to this. I'm really looking forward to them getting their asses handed to them. Oh, boy, oh boy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I got for this week.
Wow, way to end on an upper.
Yay.
Let's talk about something adorable.
Okay.
Let's talk about sex, baby.
That will be the next one.
And me.
Kind of. Not really. More like DNA replication.
Bad things.
All right. So a skull was found in China. Don't worry, it was an animal skull. And through a unique way of scanning the pieces of the fragment and bone and putting it together like a jigsaw puzzle piece, using a CT scanner, they were able to reconstruct the skull, and it had like the head of a beaver, but the mouth and jaw of a badger. The only thing that is like that in the known world right now are otters.
Okay.
Oh.
The thing is, though, that the skull was so big, the animal had to have been at least 110 pounds.
Holy shit, that's big.
So they've discovered a species of giant otter.
Nice.
And it's, I could just,
Wow.
so cute. I can't even.
That
It's
is,
like the size of a Labrador.
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Just a little note over there.
So 6.2 million years ago. All right, yeah. There was a lot of really big, crazy mammals.
Megafauna, megaflora.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've discovered a giant otter species, and with how popular otters are right now, all of my friends love otters. I thought that would be a good one to bring up. Giant otter. In other science news, 2014, there was I don't know how to put it, invention, discovery, and I don't know how to put it. But basically, scientists developed 2 new nucleic acids. Everybody knows the original 4, right? We got A, T,
C, and
G. Good job. Well, now there's X and Y.
Okay.
So this was great, except the first organisms that they were able to develop using X and Y nucleic acids basically fizzled out as soon as they were, as soon as the next generation hit. Yeah, so how they described it was a bright light burning for a second and then fading out quickly. It was great that they did it, but it didn't last, so they don't consider it a true scientific huzzah. However, in a journal article that was just released this week, they finally were able to make an E. coli microorganism that is stably reproducing generation to generation with an X and Y nucleic acid.
Huh.
It is like truly alien. It is awesome.
And are those nucleic acids actually coding for anything?
That I'm not completely sure. I can't remember if they were just acting as like placeholders or if they were actually actively coding. I don't think they're coding.
Okay.
I think they're just trying to get it to pass along generation to generation first, and then we can start messing with coding later.
Which is still really awesome.
Yeah, it's super awesome. That's like the future, people. The future.
Very cool.
That's all I have for science this week.
Sweet.
We're going long, so.
All right.
But despite all
patrons.
The burying your head in the sand moments, just remember, out there, 6.2 million years ago, there was a giant otter
And he was
eating
cute.
giant clams with his giant belly.
And that giant otter wants you to vote this year and next year.
Yes.
And every year after that, too,
Yes.
you lazy fucks.
For the otter.
You should be voting twice every year. Not once every other or once every 4. Twice every year, if not more. Anyway, we have no new feedback and no new supporters, but we do have quite a bit for supporters this week with the patron-only extra long show.
Hooray.
Yeah. So that's it for this week. Remember, not all those who wander are lost.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Atheist Nomads. You can find show notes and contact information at atheistnomads.com. Follow us on Twitter at Atheist Nomads, and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/Atheist Nomads. Please subscribe to the show in iTunes, Stitcher, or your podcatcher of choice, and while you're there, feel free to leave us a review. Theme music is courtesy of Sturdy Fred. Until next time, this has been the Atheist Nomads.